Welcome, everyone. Good evening. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Per Nestingen. I'm the high school minister at St. Andrew's Lutheran Church. So on behalf of the staff, I get to welcome you into our space. This is your space tonight. So thank you for being here. We love when our space is filled with light and life. I have a few announcements. Bathrooms are directly behind you if you need to use a restroom. If you have littles with you tonight, try to keep them close to you. This is a large building with many people from different communities, and it's not all toddler-proof, so keep your littles with you. This is a place of worship and celebration of life for a whole community, so please help us keep it clean as you can. So no food or drink in here, if you can help us with that. And then lastly, as someone who works with youth, I find self-expression and aspirational self-expression to be something that is celebrated and something that's conducive for growth of high-functioning individuals who help us celebrate the beauty in life. So I'm just very proud of these young people sharing their gifts with us tonight. Thank you for giving us hope in the future. Again, yes. That clapping is for you guys, for you guys. So yes, on behalf of St. Andrew's Lutheran Church, again, I say welcome and enjoy your evening. Miss Goucher.
Goucher, and I am the director of bands at Mahtomedi High School. And on behalf of Mahtomedi High School, we welcome you, and we're so happy that you're here representing 9 different schools. We've had 2 outstanding days of rehearsals with our choir, our band, and our jazz band, with 3 incredible clinicians. The kids have had an incredible experience. They're really tired, but they've worked really, really hard, and we are so proud. On behalf of Mr. Chad Garles and I, my choir colleague, we're just so thrilled that you're here, and we're so lucky to have this space right in our neck of the woods. And we're so thankful to St. Andrews for allowing us to use this space. I know our fellow choir and band directors really appreciate it as well. Throughout the course of the night, Mr. Garles and I will be giving some thank yous. The first thank you I would like to give is to all of the band directors of the Metro East Conference. Yes. As we know, a lot of the work that gets them ready for this, it starts in their home schools, and I'm really proud to be standing with these other individuals. If you are a Metro East band director, would you please stand for applause? This conference, but it's really great to have these people now as new friends in my life. And now we're here for the music. So it gives me great excitement to introduce our first conductor, who's been working with our incredible jazz band. I myself am a Gusty, and I'm proud of it. And this, all right. And I'm really proud to present Dr. David Stamps is the director of jazz at Gustavus. This is year 6, is that right? The 6th year that Dr. Dave Stamps has been there, and he has turned the jazz program upside down, and we are so lucky to have him here. You can read his whole bio in the program, but please welcome Dr. David Stamps.
Good evening. Good evening. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Oh, there we go. Good evening. Thank you for being here, and we are thrilled to get to play for you. The students have been working very hard for most of the afternoon and last Thursday. So we're going to start our concert with a tune called "Afternoon in Paris," and it's going to feature Matthew on trumpet, Will on tenor sax, and Aiden on drums. going to switch gears now and move into something that is a little bit more contemporary. This piece is by a good friend of mine by the name of Ellen Rowe. She's director of the jazz program up at Michigan. And this is a tune called Point Counterpoint. It starts with a simple theme, and then you'll hear some more of the development happening throughout the piece. This is going to feature Will again on tenor saxophone, Noah on trumpet, Jonah on alto sax, Samuel on vibes, and Eric on piano. Point Counterpoint. All right, this next tune is going to feature most of the band singing, actually. Not too many of the jazz big band tunes have got that, but this will be a little bit of our choral moment. And it's going to feature Jonah on the alto saxophone as well. This is The Next Chapter by Patty Darling. how about another hand for Jonah on alto saxophone? So one of the cool things about the jazz ensemble is all the improvisation. Most of the rhythm section parts, they've got a lot of symbols and things that don't really tell them exactly what to play. It gives them a guide, and they have to come up with stuff on the spot to make all that work. And then we have a lot of our soloists who have the chord changes, which just give them a little bit of an idea, and then they just take it from wherever they want to go with it. And this group, where there is a lot of people wanting to improvise, and I just think that that's so special to have students wanting to not only play this type of music, but to also take it further and put their own spin on it. So on this next song, we have a lot of solos for you guys. So we got Will again on tenor. We've got Noah on trumpet, Eric on piano, Samuel on vibes. We got some drums in there too. Am I missing anybody? We got more on the final tune too. But this is Blue 5 Jive from the Count Basie library. I must thank Laura Goucher for all of her work producing this. I know this is a massive undertaking. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you to all of the band directors for all your work with these students. They came into this already with like the music under their fingers, and we had then a bunch of time just like to shape it. So thank you for all of your work, and thank you to all of the parents for supporting all of your young students in their artistic and creative exploration. So thank you so much for keeping this music going through all the young students. Thank you. All right, so we got one more song. This is called Singapore Strut, and it is going to feature Taylor on trombone, Peter on trumpet, Matt on alto sax, Ben on trombone, Will on tenor sax, and Jonah on soprano sax. These two gentlemen here in the front row are going to try to one-up each other. So this is our final tune. It's called Singapore Strut.
Good evening. My name is Chad Garles. I'm the choir director at Mahtomedi High School. I would first like to thank all the choir directors from the Metro East Conference. They made sure that they got students here. It's all about the students with all of them, I can assuredly say. They put the students first, making sure that they nominate students, that they get them the music, that they get them here, make sure they're prepared. They've done sectional rehearsals, they've done solo auditions. They made this so much easier to be able to create all this music here tonight. If you're a Metro East Conference choir director, would you please stand and be acknowledged? We have a few soloists we would like to announce. On the piece, Give Me Oil in My Lamp, we have Maggie from Tartan, Elena from South St. Paul, and McKenna from Hastings. On the piece, I'll Be On My Way, we have Joshua from North, Matthew from Mahtomedi, Sasha from Tartan, Timothy from St. Thomas Academy, and Kale from Hastings. Also on I'll Be On My Way, we have a fiddle player. He's really a violinist, he's just pretending to be a fiddler tonight. But it's Derek Riorik. We must also thank tonight our accompanist, Joan Fitch. I'm one lucky person. I get to work with Joan every day at Mahtomedi, and she has come on board to work in this event the last few years, and she does amazing work. So please thank her now. Our clinician tonight is Dr. Lee Nelson. He is currently at Wartburg College. He does have some Minnesota ties. He got his undergraduate degree from Concordia College, and his first teaching job was at Blaine High School. So he has some close ties here to Minnesota. He's a dear friend. He's done several honor choirs, all states throughout the country. He is one amazing clinician, and he's made some wonderful music with all these people here on stage tonight. It's been a thrill to watch and hear it all. Without further ado, please welcome Dr. Lee Nelson and the Metro East Choir, All Conference Choir.
From evening. What a joy it is first to hear that amazing jazz band. Holy smokes, I'm still sort of like, whoa, that was just fantastic. First piece you heard, not quite like the jazz band. It came a few hundred years earlier. George Friedrich Handel's In Praise of Music, the wonderful Your Voices tune that comes from one of his big oratorios called Alexander's Feast. We kept singing about Cecilia because Saint Cecilia is the patron saint of music. So the piece is all about in praise of music. What a fitting piece on a night like this where we get to celebrate music of all different types. We continue on with a composer from Iowa. Her name is Elaine Hagenberg, and she's taking the choral world by storm. She was a piano performance major, and now she's writing these just amazing pieces of music, this being one of them. Her setting of O Love. You might know that hymn by the pastor George Matheson. You might have sung this text before in a church setting. This is a whole different take on it, her own original composition of O Love. The next piece features one of Minneapolis's own composers, Mr. Kyle Peterson. He is a church musician up here, a former teacher down in, I believe, Lakeville is where he taught. He taught 7th through 12th grade social studies and history, and realized that his true passion is making music. So he went back and got a composition degree, and is now writing music all over and getting performances all over. And this is a setting of what many of us think of as a children's melody, Give Me Oil in My Lamp and Keep Me Burning. And this is his whole new take on it, and he mashes up 2 songs. So you'll hear that, and then you'll hear Swing Low, Sweet Chariot come in, and then he'll stir it all together at the end. So we hope you enjoy Kyle Peterson's Give Me Oil in My Lamp. this opportunity and just say a huge thanks first to the choral faculty, to Mr. Garles for asking me to be part of this. It's so good to be what I still refer to as home. My wife and I both taught up here in the Anoka Hennepin School District in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it was such a formative time. We then went on to grad school, and I went down to the University of Arizona down in Tucson, and my wife, who's an elementary music teacher, decided there's going to be great opportunities for jobs down there. There's about 92,000 students in the Tucson Unified School District. There were 80-some elementary schools, so she said there won't be any problem getting a job down there. Until we went down in 2002 and realized that only 2 of those elementary schools had music left in them. With budget cuts happening in the 90s, they took library, physical education, of course, music got on the chopping block, and you know that when that goes away, that just doesn't come back. The grassroots movement down there from the community said we need music in the programs here, and they went and banded together to find funding both privately, but then also through the National Endowment of the Arts, and found funding for something called Opening Minds Through the Arts, which instated 10 elementary music programs in inner city Tucson, and my wife was lucky enough to be part of that grant. First graders got to work with the Tucson Opera group, and the first graders studied opera all year long, and at the end of the year, they wrote their own opera that they performed. Every third grader got to work with the section leaders out of the Tucson Orchestra who came into the schools every week, and every one of those third graders learned a string instrument. An unbelievable program. Where did they look to when they started creating this grant? What part of the world did they come to figure out where is music education most vibrant? The Midwest. They came up and looked at what was happening in Minnesota, in Iowa, and at that time Wisconsin and Illinois. These programs were so vibrant, and as we've known, we can lose sight of what's really important. If you have any students in any of these ensembles, ask them about their experience here today, and you're going to hear things that have nothing to do with right notes and right rhythms. It's going to all be about the heart and the soul of these pieces and how it's impacted them. Watching the jazz band play, watching the facial expressions of those players, absolute joy. Understanding the human condition. That's why music is important and cannot be taken out of our schools, is that we need that human condition. So, to any and all administrators who are here, thank you for keeping events like this happening. This is a huge, huge help. We close today's program with a piece by Sean Kirchner, who was born about 15 miles from where I currently live down in Iowa, and he now lives out in Hollywood, where he sings on movie screens. He just got done doing the latest Star Wars, and he works in a church down there, and he happens to be the composer in residence for the Los Angeles Master Chorale, and he loves bluegrass and gospel. So he wrote this piece, the setting of I'll Be On My Way, featuring 5 of our soloists, the amazing Joan on piano, and Derek, our guest fiddler tonight. So thank you so much. We hope you enjoy. I'll be on my way.
When I'm gone, don't you cry for me. Don't you pity my sorry soul? What pain there might have been will now be past, and my spirit will be whole. I'll be on my way.
the Zephyr Fine Arts Foundation, our ZPAFs, Performing Arts Foundation. They are the reason our kids got to eat on Thursday night and tonight. They took care of ordering our food and serving us, and they also took care of welcoming you tonight and giving you a program. Can we please give it up for our Zephyr Performing Arts Foundation? And thank you to Dr. Nelson for already saying this, but we would like to thank our administrators for making events like this possible. If there are any administrators of any of our schools in the house, would you please rise? They're there in the back. Thank you for your support. And then we'll give them a chance to warm up and tune a little bit, and then I'll introduce our next conductor. It is with great pleasure that I introduce our final conductor of the evening. We are so blessed here in the Metro East to have these three incredible conductors tonight. Let's give them a round of applause yet again. We haven't heard this guy yet. Thank you. For our final part of the evening, our concert band, conducted by a dear friend of mine and also the director of bands at Gustavus Adolphus College. He replaced the conductor that I had the pleasure of working with, and he's actually the Dr. Douglas Nimmo Endowed Chair. Did I get that right? Yes. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. James Patrick Miller.
have to take the microphone off the stand because it's set for Laura Goucher height. So I promised her I'd say that. Well, good evening. Thank you so much for being here. I am so blessed, so joyful to be able to work with these musicians, incredible students, incredible energy, and their teachers. Here in the Metro East, I have so many friends that work in the schools, in the band program, and it is an incredible honor. Just to echo what my colleagues said, it is just so joyful to get to do this. And for me, as I was sitting here listening to that incredible jazz ensemble and the amazing choir, Minnesota does choir unlike any other place on earth. Well, yeah. I am humbled just to be on a program with the kind of human beings and musicians that people like Dave Stamps and Lee Nelson are. That first piece was by a musical hero of mine, David Maslenka, and simply entitled Illumination, and that piece I think is built for this incredible space here at St. Andrews. We're going to turn to something very different in the program right now. Certainly the largest piece on our portion of the concert and the most emotionally complex. I'm only going to talk about it for a moment, and it gets into a subject matter that is difficult to talk about. Now, we only have to turn on the television to know that it is very difficult to say anything that everybody agrees with. But I'm going to say one thing that I believe that everyone agrees with. And that is that every person in here, and many of you, parents, friends, relatives, teachers of these incredible students, all of us deserve to be outlived by our children. This next piece, entitled An American Elegy, I've taken with me to every festival that I have been to in the last 18 months. And I'm embarrassed to say I don't know how many performances that is. I'm blessed to do this kind of thing a lot. But suffice it to say, it's quite a few. Because if you can believe it, we've passed the 20th anniversary of the tragedy at Columbine High School. Mr. Kelly wrote this piece as a way to close the book on a tragedy so unthinkable that it could never happen again. A way to move into the future, to be uplifting, and to celebrate those who lost their lives. But as we know, the last 20 years have made it that it was not a closed book. And I'm not smart enough to know what we're doing wrong, but we're doing something wrong. And I'll say the second thing that I think everybody will agree with. That if there's one thing that might save us all, it's the arts. And so as we play this piece, I just want you to reflect on who you are and what you have. And I would encourage you to do whatever you can do with whatever you have to support education and to support the arts. Because what these human beings do is beautiful. And if we can't keep our children safe, we're doing something terribly wrong. This is An American Elegy by Frank Kelly.
It's a hard one to follow. Thank you for the beauty of that, students. That was powerful. Speaking of, I think we need to thank the most important people in the room tonight, other than you parents, who we'll start with that actually. Thank you to you parents, sorry, who have, whatever, improv, right? Dr. Stamps, improv. Thank you to the parents who have supported these students from a young age. We know the first sounds that you heard on their instruments and their singing voices were perfect in every way. We thank you because we know that you have been the biggest part of their journey more than any of us high school band directors. We thank you for sharing these incredible students with us who we are so lucky and blessed to work with every day. I count myself so lucky every day, and I mean that sincerely. So thank you, parents. Students, I think we need to thank your parents. And then there's I don't even know the number, the 200-ish plus students that are here from 9 different schools who have given up not only 2 days of rehearsing and concert time during what we know, what is finals time for many of us, but they have given up hours upon hours upon hours, we can't even count, of time of practice and rehearsals and hauling instruments here to there and everywhere. And we band and choir directors here tonight are nothing without these incredible students who give their time and care so much about music. It is truly us who are the lucky ones who get to work with these amazing individuals. Let's thank these incredible people up here. And finally, before JPM takes the mic one more time, I want to once again thank our 3 incredible clinicians, Dr. Dave Stamps, Dr. Lee Nelson, and Dr. James Patrick Miller.
That's a thing at Gustavus, too. I've never had students chant my name before, so... You know, Lee, Dave, and I are also all parents, and it's hard being a parent. And every time I think I've got it figured out, I remember my 4-year-old, and she reminds me how difficult it can be. But I sure hope she gets the opportunity to do this. It's pretty spectacular what's going on here. So to Ms. Goucher, to all the teachers, the administrators, thank you so much for everything. We're going to conclude the concert tonight with a Spanish march. It is Don Ricardo, and you'll hear 2 themes. You will hear El Toro, the bull, and you'll hear El Matador. It will be fairly clear when you encounter them, and then they will clash at the end. Thank you so much for your support of these students. Thank you all for being awesome. And this is Don Ricardo.